You know we're going to ask you to sing the national anthem, right?
No, but I want to be closer to the...
We have to.
Should we have to do the Pledge of Allegiance
And then,
roll call?
yes.
Yeah.
Is it working? Oh, there. There. Hi.
Okay, this is coming up next, I don't know. Are we started? Okay. Good evening and welcome to the April 4th, 2023 ARB meeting for the town of Eastchester. Please, everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Lucas, you have the names here. If you would, the roll call, do you have them there at the?
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay. Enda McIntyre,
Here?
Carlos Garcia Boo,
He's not present tonight.
Laura Raffiani,
Present?
Jennifer Nemechek,
Here.
Silvio Luca.
Also not present this evening.
Okay.
Thank you. And also, I'd just like to welcome Lucas. Lucas, I'm sorry, your last name, I'm like really bad.
Herbert.
Herbert, yeah.
Oh, Herbert, okay. Is our new town planner. Yes?
Yes.
That's your title, right? Okay. All righty. And approval of minutes from the prior meeting. Do we have the right number? We were all here, right?
I believe so.
Are there any comments regarding the minutes of that March 31st, March 2nd meeting? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the March 2nd ARB meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. And then, first up on our agenda this evening is old business, application 23-03 Sephora at 670 White Plains Road.
Hi, good evening. My name is Nicole. I work for OLA in behalf of Sephora. We are the architects of record. We were here, I believe, 2 months ago, and we didn't get the approval for the facade. Basically, this storefront was previously approved by another architect, so we actually had to redesign the storefront due to the need of value engineer the storefront after receiving bids that were much greater than the budget allowed. So we were forced to make updates to the approval, which is this one. We previously had black metal apollic panels on the top and black and white stone to now be skim-coated stucco base with black and white paint, matching the design specifications previously called out. We now had furred out 2 of the columns, so this and this, 4 inches out to have some depth, which was previously asked by the board.
Yes?
I have brought some paint chips.
Okay.
And I also brought some reference of previously built stores. So both are in California, and they both show the paint, the columns with paint. And yeah, it's basically the facade that you can just see the paint. I know you guys mentioned about doing the scoring. It's not their preference for Sephora, but they're willing to do it if you guys would like it. But they will do it max 1/8 of an inch wide in concave shape.
Yes.
What is the construction of the 2 corner pilasters? What are they getting furred out with?
It's just, oh, sorry, my brain froze. It's just drywall and the studs, metal studs framed out.
Like dense shield, I guess it would be for exterior construction? Okay. So as part of that, because obviously that's not detailed, and you've just said that, you know, you're willing to comply with that request, which is what we suggested 2 months ago, we would just want to make sure that that detail is clearly defined,
Yes,
because the only way to create those reveals in the way you just proposed, which is this den shield, would be to score it and put some sort of a corner bead on that.
yeah, I mean, as mentioned, it wasn't the preferred option, but if the board would like it to, I will go ahead tomorrow and start detailing that.
Okay, yeah, you can put some sort of a Milgo Buffkin or a Fry Riglet reveal, but I think we certainly would want to see that before we just agree that an 1/8-inch reveal is fine. We'd really like to see the construction of that, because I think that would give it
Right.
the definition and the, you know, the separation from the black and the white that I think, you know, we want to see there. We just don't want to see a zebra, you know, crossing, you know, illustrated out of paint on these two pilasters.
No, so the idea is basically to sort of replicate the white grout between the black and white stone. So that will be the same situation with the scoring. It will replicate the grout. So the scoring will be white as well as the grout that we
But
have.
there will be an indentation concave
Concave,
for
Right.
1/8.
1/8. And I brought the measuring tape so you can see how much.
Yeah, we need to see that. If you're willing to accommodate this scoring and this reveal,
Yeah.
I would kind of call it more of a reveal than a scoring. You know, that can be communicated to us, you know, in a simple email where we can just sign off on the,
That would be great.
you know, on that detail, but
Yeah.
because these two pilasters sit proud of the facade, are you proposing to take it around the corner?
Yeah, as mentioned, it would be like the grout. So it will go, here's the pile, so it will go like that around the corner. So,
Right, yeah, I'm looking at your drawing. Yeah,
So,
because it's, I'm sorry, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it's really not, it's not brickwork, it's alternating colors, black and white, and it's really not, you know, it's not white, because all of these lines need to be the same size. So that's kind of why it's important that we see this, so that the, you know, the white, if you're saying everything's going to be white, that's not going to increase
The white stripe.
the white stripe by the thickness of the grout line. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's kind of why it's difficult for us to be able to say yes. In principle, we want definition, and the separation between these equally sized black and white alternating strips needs to be defined by this reveal.
okay. Well, that's why Sephora preferred not to have it, so they will be equal in size. But then they're willing to give it, they're willing to give it so it looks like the grout. So that's why I think it will be white. That's what the designer mentioned.
and in your existing stone and granite, what were the original materials that,
Marble
Yeah,
and
marble.
granite.
okay,
And white grout.
okay. So it has white grout and on the store, so does that make the white panels, the white stripes appear slightly bigger, or
Not really. I can give you my measuring tape. The 1/8 is very, very thin.
Okay.
Like, it's just like,
And also, it's got shadow in it, so it almost
Exact.
looks grayish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
I think, you know, it's the chicken and the egg. You know, all of this is going to be installed exactly the same dimensions. If these strips are, on average, 9 inches thick, well, you say plus or minus, is it plus or minus 9 inches as the white stripes, and the black stripes are 8 inches. Why is that? They're not equal?
no, they're not equal. Usually, we try to match it to the facade, and the white, we always have it a little bit more.
Okay. Okay.
which looks fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But if that's going to be the case, then you're just going to, the reveals are going to be installed on, with this configuration. And then you're going to paint after.
Yeah, or if it's not a problem for you, maybe we can add 1 inch to the black and then give the 1/8 to the white. So the black has 8 inches. We can modify the stripes.
We're not designing it. That's your job.
Okay. No, yeah, we
Yeah, and
just
it
why-
has
want to get
and it has to
approved.
start, probably has to start with a black and end with a black, too,
Right.
right? That's the way that
Yeah.
normally, that's the
Like if-
normal configuration.
If you're asking us to design it,
No,
we'll
no.
design it, but that's your job.
No, I know. We just want to get approved, to be honest. So
Okay, well, all we're asking for, and again, we're not asking for a lot. We've come from, you know, a black granite and white marble proposed facade that we approved to 2 months ago, you know, not really understanding where we are. We've compromised on something that we feel is more than fair. We just want it to look right and be done properly.
Yeah.
And it's not our responsibility to tell you how to do it or to design it for that matter. You're saying that you're willing to compromise with this reveal, as you call it.
Yeah.
It's not designed currently on the drawing. After we asked you to include and really take our recommendation on board, that's not the case here on this submission. You're now saying that you're willing to, you know,
To do
include
but-
that, but you're not really showing us how it's done. I'm asking a question purely from my own understanding as to how you're doing that. If you're asking me to do it,
No.
I would offer an opinion as to how I would do it, but that's really not my responsibility. The last thing we want to do is give you our blessing that we're okay with this, not see it, and then see it after it's done, and it looks terrible.
no, and that won't happen.
Okay.
We will literally work on this tomorrow, and by Friday we
Okay.
can have something for you.
Exactly. I think you just need to detail it, and it needs to be done in the way you want to do it. We just want separation between the black and the white,
Okay.
other than a painted line. We just don't want
Yeah,
that.
makes sense.
And also, my question is, what is the texture of the building, of the whole building? Is it like a stucco texture, or is it a flat texture?
It's a stucco.
Okay,
I think we would like to see that.
yes.
Okay.
We would like to see that.
Okay.
Is it like a textured rough finish, or is it more of a plastered finish?
Okay.
You know, the paint samples are fine, but because we've gone from something that we clearly understand what it is and what it looks like and how it feels, which is marble and granite, you're now explaining that it's a stucco finish. If we could get a sample of the stucco, then I think that's certainly something that would be very helpful to us.
Okay.
There's nothing in here that lists like the materials, right?
No, I mean, we have the elevation with the materials. So it's actually scheme code paint, new furrows column.
It's just a skim coat here.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing it on dense shield, it's probably not going to be a stucco. So we would just need to see a sample of what you're proposing on the facade of the building in terms of finish.
Okay.
The black, majority of, above the storefront? What finish is that? That's all gonna be,
That's also
Skim coat?
Skim coat, yeah.
And we also had asked that have the score lines as well.
That will be part of the scoring.
Okay.
If
Yes,
requested.
yes, exactly.
But again, it would be 1/8 of an inch.
Okay. Okay, so
But
it,
you're
yes,
really
it
not
does,
going-
it does have it on your proposed, oh, no, I'm sorry, this is the old one.
No, this is proposed.
Yeah, but this has got the other architect's
Oh,
name on
no,
it.
No, that's not it.
It's very confusing. Okay, I don't know if this is from last
it is,
time,
even though that's submitted.
March
as part of it.
17th. March 17th is the new one, right? Received March 17th? And then we received this March 20-something.
So we updated the plans,
Okay,
and I'm attaching the previous presentation, just so your reference. You don't have to look at it.
all right. Okay, so then, we are requesting that you submit us a detailed drawing of the
Sorry.
plans with the scoring and, exactly what that will look like, how it will be done, and in both places, the top and the bottom, and the texture of the coat,
Okay.
all right? And honestly, I don't know, typically, we don't approve stuff.
It might be good to adjourn this and come back one more time.
Yeah, that's like, I know, it's very difficult, but I don't know what to do, because the things that we asked for, some of them you did, and some of them you didn't do, and we're still looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, we did figure out that that's the most important because it gives the depth, to be honest, and
Yes.
the 18-inch sign. Like, to be honest, I live in New Jersey, so it's really difficult to come here.
Well, it's better than California, the last ones who came here.
Well,
But,
listen,
okay.
we get it, we understand that, that this is not ideal, but in fairness, you're asking for us to approve something that really,
Sight
if another
Yes,
2
sight
hours worth of work was put into these drawings.
I know, but my client is Sephora, and they requested not to have it at first. I discussed this, that you guys do want it, so they told me, like, look, present it as is, and if they really insist, and this will get us approved, then we will willing to.
It will, but it'll get you approved next month. That's the problem. You should have at least maybe come with a set of alternate plans and with the scoring, and then say, okay, and this is the one with the scoring. We can't, just.
Like, we're not asking to go back to the original proposition here. We're not. We're just asking for some reveals and understanding what this looks like, because it's not stucco, it's a skim coat. We just want to, this is our responsibility on this board, architectural review. So I understand that it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but we didn't create this inconvenience. Your client chose not to, put the extra couple of hours work in detailing this and providing a sample as to what, what this proposed upgrade is. So we're looking to try and accommodate what you and your client are proposing, are willing to agree on, but I'm not sure we can agree to that on the blind. Would you do that?
I mean,
Well, that's a rhetorical question, because respectfully, this is what we want. And again, I'm not looking to be,
Well, they still have to come to the planning
the
board
planning board.
for approval.
If you want to defer this to the planning board, have them sign off on the reveals.
Right.
And, you know, the finishes, I'm fine with that.
Okay. I
But-
think
but it's-
that will save us time, but I do.
It's not gonna save us time, it's gonna
No,
save you
them-
time.
you time.
And I will appreciate
But
it.
I do require you to email the town, and the town will forward it to us, because if
sure.
it is not to our liking, somebody will be there at the planning board. Okay, you know,
And yeah, don't worry, I will get myself to like do the details tomorrow, and this will be the priority.
okay.
Okay, so it's going to be a condition of this
With
recommend.
condition
okay.
of that, the scoring to be, all right, so I'd like to send application ARB 23-03 along to the planning board with the recommendation of approval conditionally with the scoring done on all the columns, the storefront, and also make sure that you have samples of the finish when you present at the planning board.
Okay.
Which is, what's the date of the planning board meeting?
It's the last Tuesday of the month. I have to get, I bring my calendar.
The submission deadline is the 11th for the 27th.
Okay.
Okay, April
So
11th.
submission deadline is the 11th.
Okay, I can discuss
So-
with you.
Yep.
Just to add, I would like to have the scoring also be referred to as reveals. Because I think it's more than just scoring. Scoring is a reference of cutting something. This is a little bit more detailed than that. It's more of a reveal,
cutter.
a reveal in my opinion.
Okay, will do.
Are we going to have them email it to us to look at before it goes to the board?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So-
please make sure you email it before you submit it on and the submission has to be done by the 11th, but you need to email it to us before that, so that we
I
can.
will.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
take a
of
look
course.
at it before it goes to the board.
right, so we're giving you the, you know, the benefit of not having to come back to the ARB.
Thank you so much.
However, you need to be able to comply with what we're recommending, and based on giving us the opportunity to see it before the planning board, hopefully we can be in agreement, and you can still keep step with the upcoming planning board
Okay, thank you.
presentation.
Can I just remind if I,
Sure.
if you want to provide any comments, if you adopt a resolution this evening, you really should not be providing comments except at the planning board meeting. So if you want to see it again and comment on it, it should come back to you. And if you want to, or you can go and comment at the planning board. But the
Wow.
interim review is not something that you should proceed.
We've done it before this way, you know, this seems, you know.
I don't think we actually have, by emailing and preempting the
Okay.
planning board meeting.
I do believe we do, but again,
Okay,
I'm not going to be at the planning board.
I'm just going to request that the town send me something before, as soon as they receive it.
Very good.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
very much. And next up on the agenda this evening is new business, application 23-12, which is the Pottery Barn at 670, also White Plains Road, in that same shopping center.
Can you please take the mic too? Thanks.
And introduce yourself.
Hi there. My name is Ken Sawyer with Winter Architects, representing Williams Sonoma Inc. Pottery Barn.
Okay?
So we've been in touch with Margaret, and then we've taken over from her. She requested that we create an exhibit that can consolidate the storefront, call out
1 second,
What was
1
that?
second.
So sorry.
That's okay.
Should I repeat?
Sure.
Yeah. My name is Ken Sawyer with Interior Architects, representing Williams-Sonoma Inc. and Pottery Barn. And I was just mentioning that there was a request from Margaret at the city to prepare a consolidated exhibit with the storefront, the materials kind of called out, and a section, because she felt that she had to kind of hunt through the submission to get all that information.
Okay,
May I bring you, that's
Sure.
actually what you see here, and I have a printout
Great.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
so this is a one-pager.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
Super.
Yes.
And then before I go through the presentation, I do have materials. Would you like me to set those out first? Or as we?
We can pass them later. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, one moment. All right, so, and I'm sorry, I haven't done this before, but how would you like me to kind of walk through the presentation, just sheet by sheet, or?
No, just work with that, work with the
Okay.
compilation sheet, and just tell us exactly what, what's going where, and we'll give you questions if we have.
Okay, sounds good. So I think you're all pretty familiar with the building. It's, just a building south of the previous project that we were reviewing. It's an existing kind of 3-story building, kind of interesting, as you know, with the Barnes & Noble taking the lower level. This LOD that we're kind of focusing on is on the street level, on the west side. And then there's another tenant on the top, I believe, that may be offices. So really our lease line, is pretty much the extent of what we're proposing here. And the rest of the elevation outside of the, sort of white wood, which we're proposing, is that existing plaster that's there today. So Pottery Barn really loves symmetry. It's kind of a challenge with the LOD that which we received because the interior is, a bit asymmetrical, but the symmetrical presentation is really important to them. So one thing that you'll notice from the existing American Eagle facade with the 2 doors kind of off center, we sort of reset that center line and that center entry. And then, flanking that, and I believe, actually, at this point right here is where there's a column line. And then it's pretty subtle here in the elevation, but this is where the sidewalk starts to dip down. So we really couldn't, shift that door even if we wanted to the right. So luckily, we didn't necessarily have to do that. And we were able to create kind of a symmetrical presentation by just eliminating the single door and then installing the door in the right position where it is today. So once you kind of peel back the plaster, at each of those lease lines and then at that second floor, what we're proposing to do is just install this Dutch cove lap siding, which we feel is, very appropriate to kind of the local vernacular. It's dimensionally stable. It's actually a composite material that has like a polymer and then fly ash. It's like sustainable as well. It's kind of the trade dress for PB. We've installed it in Seattle, New Hampshire, California, Chicago. Pretty high performance stuff. It comes primed and then that gets painted once it's installed. Pretty, traditional detailing as you go around the windows. There's a vertical board and then the cove siding butts into that, kind of at each of these kind of transition points. Let's see, one kind of couple other unique features I want to point out. The trellis here, will add kind of that 3-dimensional sort of dynamic, presence, I think, along the whole storefront, as well as this canopy, which is really practical, obviously with the weather protection. It's more long-lasting, I think, than what's there today, which is just fabric awnings, which have to get kind of replaced, on an ongoing basis. And then the reclaimed wood siding, which also is repeated inside the store on all the bays. The light track gets clad in the wood, sort of as this like datum at between 11 and 12 feet. But that really kind of warms up the entry and kind of calls your attention to that. Within the canopy, there's 2 recessed lights. One of them is an emergency light, which is required, as we all know. But so that kind of gives sort of general illumination to the doors. And then I know signage is under separate permit, but just want to mention that what's proposed is a halo lit sign, so it's not kind of this garish sort of bright sign. It has like a warm glow as well.
It is a warm lumen, kind of a...
It is, yes. Okay. And I don't know the Kelvin, but I know it's warmer than West Elm.
Not blue.
No, not at all. And it's definitely warmer than West Elm, and West Elm is right there at the property. So, and as you know, they're under the same umbrella, WSI. So.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
West Elm has one warm letter in it,
Oh, no.
by the way.
Okay.
It's been there since, I think, inception. I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
But there is one warm letter.
Okay.
You see
I'll
it at
let-
night, and I'm like...
I can definitely pass on that to repairs and
We
maintenance.
prefer the warm, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I mean, with a sign vendor out here doing this work, they use preferred sign vendors, and I'm sure that they don't want it to, look like that either. So I'll let them know, and while they're
Okay.
out here to do this work, maybe they could fix that
the
as
other
well.
one.
Yeah.
The best would be to make them all warm, but I don't know what that involves.
It's a bit cooler for West Elm, so we'll try to find out what's going on first, and then I'll
Okay.
tell them warmer's preferred for sure.
Alrighty. And then on your sheet 8, page, is this 8? Is it 8 or 8? I can't see.
Page 8.
Okay, and that's what the trellis looks like?
Yes, that's correct. So the bottom left image, that's the trellis that we're proposing to install here and here. So there's kind of, exposed fasteners, and then each kind of member is protected with flashing on top. So, durability, kind of long-lasting solutions, I think, for that
And
are proposed.
this represents both the one by the plans and the one above the window as well, right? I don't know if you call that a trellis or,
That's correct. So the white one that you see on
Yeah.
the bottom left image, that's these two.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then this would be the canopy on this
Right.
side.
okay.
Yeah.
But the trellises that are attached to the plants, that's the same material?
No, so these are actually, they're from Garden Metalworks. It's actually like a prefab, but they do custom sort of sizes for that. But it's just, it's a metal kind of tube. And I believe the dimensions are 2 by 2 for each of the squares. So that would be, 4 by 10. We kind of size them to whatever's appropriate. I think what's important for Williamstown is that they're sized appropriately so that if, they had kind of some vines or growies on that it would actually reach that there, so.
And what are the plants that you usually put in the planters for that?
So that's a good question, and we don't have the answer for that now, because they usually engage a local landscaper or landscape architect to kind of advise on that, or a gardener. I'm not sure if the landlord has a garden maintenance program, but I think they would start there. But
Would you
definitely
recommend
something.
Wisteria would be nice, because because when the leaves, it's deciduous, and when the vines grow over it, it's still architectural. But they have to decide, because it has to do with the maintenance plan. They have to take care of
Jennifer is a landscape architect.
Oh,
so-
great. Cool. Yeah.
You have
Who
to see.
lives in the area, so obviously, like, you know
They
about
have
the
to,
plants.
they
yeah.
have to determine as part of their landscape,
Yeah.
their maintenance plan.
Yeah, I mean, always would love to piggyback on if the landlord had one, because then you're not sending 2 crews out, and they would either pay them back for that, or I'm not sure how it works. That's not
Yeah.
my call, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. All righty.
And then the pots themselves, they're shown as rectangular here. I don't know if that is something you would like input on, but Pottery Barn likes to do stock withdrawals, so something that they sell for these kind of 4 positions here. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And I think in my notes, there was a note about the size of the lettering. I know that that would have to come to the sign committee, which I am also on.
Okay.
And did Margaret say that they were 21 inches? Or, I don't know, whoever wrote those notes, I'm not sure.
Margaret wrote the notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our intent wasn't for the letters necessarily to be any larger than, it looks like 1 medical, maybe is the largest on that run.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, 1 medical, it looks
Okay.
like is the largest, I think, on that run there.
Okay,
I don't know for sure what that dimension is, but I don't know that, just eyeballing, it doesn't look like, we're proposing anything larger than that.
Okay.
And certainly I know one of the early comments was that we'd want this to be in line with the others, and that's absolutely what we want as well. So we don't
Okay.
want this disjointed thing happening
well,
across.
right now, the sign law, the max is 18 inches on the largest letter.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if that's what this is, or if it's 18 on the smaller ones. I'm not really sure. But when you come to the sign committee, please make sure that that's
Okay.
accurate.
What's the width of the shiplap, the boards?
So they are 10 inches, but that's 10 inches. I think we've drawn these actually, including that little bit of overlap on the tongue and groove. So I was thinking that too. I was like, is this 20 inches
Yeah.
because of that? But so I think we're pushing the limit of the 18.
Okay.
but-
On the larger letters.
Yeah, so on the
not
P and the B.
smaller, Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
Did you want to see any other materials?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Presentation.
Yeah.
That's the color.
That's for color?
Got it.
Oh, that's how big that siding is. Okay.
And it's going to be that color. It's okay, thank you.
And that's below the windows, the stone?
That's correct. So that's the
Home base.
stone base. I believe for this climate, we would size it 3 cm just because of like salt and wear and tear with the climate. So pretty hefty.
Nice.
Very nice.
That is detailed with a quirk miter. So pretty it kind of looks monolithic under the windows. That's also meeting the sidewalk where the siding occurs as well, so that we don't have the siding meeting the ground to kind of prolong its life. Yeah, and then the metal sample, that's the storefront. We also, go to great lengths to make sure that the canopy, because those are usually different manufacturers, matches that. So we'll get kind of a RAL or whatever, from the storefront manufacturer. Start with the storefront manufacturer because the lead times are crazy right now. So that's why we said Oldcastle or similar, because it's been really nuts. That along with you know, mechanical units, I think, is like the
Hardware.
craziest thing right now. So, and then the reclaimed comes from, you know, one supplier, no exposed fasteners. It's reading a little bit darker in the swatch versus what you have. I am not sure why. I think there may be a sealer, so some of that
Yeah.
character and color comes out once it's sealed, which you don't necessarily see here. But we definitely want to do that in this climate. So.
So the canopy is, I know you have some aluminum elements. Is it the structure steel, like the C-channel surround is steel, or is it
So
all-
we've done the canopy in both steel and in aluminum, actually. The signage vendor that we'll probably use here is Signtech. I think they're based out of San Diego, but they've done, you know, some steel look-alike canopies, so it's a little bit lighter and there's less stress
Right.
on the structural of the existing building, but in aluminum. So they'll do kind of that
Okay.
expressed C channel,
Right,
but in
okay.
aluminum.
Okay.
So we're probably headed in that direction, but I can't confirm yet.
Yeah,
And there's less oxidation with that too, right?
Yeah,
well, I guess it's all going to be factory painted, like in that,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of the sign vendor that I mentioned. You know, it's all factory finish, and they have very like
Yeah.
tight tolerances with all of their like, you know, steel or metal members.
and they do this for all of your stores, right?
Yeah, they just did one that was very challenging at Oak Brook Mall in Chicago area, and it was on a radius. So the coordination was really crazy, but exact same thing. This is a lot more straightforward, but you know, drainage is considered, wood cladding, all that. So
Nice finish. Okay.
and then the glass is Starfire, Solar Brand 72, so it has like high visibility through, which is really important for Williams-Sonoma brands.
Yeah, plus it's a upgraded glass as
Yeah.
opposed to regular glass, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk again about the plants. Don't pick wisteria because it's poisonous, and in
Okay.
the public space, you don't want poisonous plants.
Yes.
So
On second
that's, yeah, well, it looks beautiful, and in a private setting, it's different. But in a public place like this, you do not want a poisonous plant. So whatever they pick, make sure it's not
Okay.
poisonous
Yeah.
to people or animals.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be deciduous just because there's not a lot of options.
If it's deciduous, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because they'd probably do a seasonal display anyway. so.
Yeah. And I think we have 10'4" from the curb to the existing storefront. Right now we're showing like a 4-inch projection. It says TBD or VIF on some of our sections because we just don't know what we're going to run into. So we didn't want to get our heart set on a specific dimension, but we just want to make sure to, you know, protect the integrity of the building and then build forward kind of enough so that there's, you know, our storefront is proud to a point, but we still want it to feel integrated with the rest of the building. So we're going to try to minimize it if there's, you know, existing conditions in there that we can't integrate it as much as we're assuming right now.
Righty.
So do we just want to kind of go through the sort of formality of?
Open the public hearing and,
So I'll
okay.
do. So I'd like to make a motion to open application 23-12, located at Vernal Hills, White Plains, to the public. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, seeing there's nobody here, then I'd like to make a motion to close application 23-12.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the public hearing is now closed on this application. Okay, any other sort of comments?
No, I think it's a
No.
really nice
Nice.
presentation.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
wish the,
Materials are beautiful.
the prior applicant was here, because this is certainly how it's supposed to be done. You know, it's very well put together. You had your samples, very easy for us to navigate through the process, and you know, see the level of thoughtfulness and hard work that was put into this. And it certainly makes our job here on this board that much easier, so.
Thank you.
Kudos and well done to you and your team for putting this together.
Thank you.
So, any other sort of comments? So, that being the case, I would like to move application 23-12 along to the planning board for their further review and consideration.
Great. Thank you so much.
Very good. Good luck, and
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward to having Pottery Barn here in town.
Us too. Thank you.
For sure.
Oh, you guys didn't vote.
Okay.
You have to,
Second
a
that?
motion, but someone has to
Oh,
second,
okay.
and then you have to
All
vote.
right. Yeah,
All in
okay, so,
favor?
aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Okay.
All righty, and I think that concludes our meeting this evening. So I'd like to make a motion to close the ARB meeting of Tuesday, April 4th, 2023.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All righty, thank you, good night,
Okay.
Eastchester.